Right, people, just making sure everything is ready and fit to go. So, in this episode of Behind the Bars TV, I'm going to be talking about a grooming gang down in Yorkshire that has just been sentenced to a total of 219 years in prison. Now, this grooming gang, or as I refer to them on here as Bacons, have been sentenced just recently, last week, and as usual, these type of cases hasn't really been broadcast. And as you know, on this channel, I'm bringing you this type of content because it doesn't get shown in the mainstream media. So I am live across a couple of different platforms here, which I'm actually new to again, as I've just started doing these lives, but with a bit extra time, I will be doing these. So I am live now across TikTok and YouTube. So just let us know in the comments if you can hear everything clearly, people, and you are listening to the story that is just about to unfold. Now, these will be uploaded straight afterwards, so if you are missing any part of the live, it will be automatically uploaded. So, the recent child SA in Calderdale this was just last week on Friday, the 8th of November. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this to the attention, because a lot of me viewers who have been watching the Bacon Bashes on my channel are loving this type of content. And one of my subscribers actually pointed out and said, why is it that all of these stories that you're covering are of white bacons or white nonces? And I said, obviously, it's just because these are the stories that are popping up. I said, give me names or give me a case and I will look into it and do a video on it. So this one here has now, the restrictions have been lifted on it. This was dating back, there was an investigation back in 2016 following reports of repeated SA of a vulnerable young girl between 2002 and 2006, starting when she was 13 years old. Now, like I've mentioned, there was restrictions on this case, and now they've all been lifted. And again, unless you're looking for this type of case or you're from that area, you will not hear this on the mainstream news. So in total, there's 22 men from Calderdale, if you can call them men. I'll refer to them as beasts. 22 beasts in total have been sentenced for this. And it does say legal restrictions and appeals against convictions meant they were unable to share the outcomes until the end of this other sentencing. So the convictions follow an investigation, like I said, which launched in 2016. And 20 men have been jailed, with 22 now, because obviously the other two men have also been jailed for a total of 219 years combined after being found guilty of hairy aping and young girls. Through a series of individual investigations and trials, the men were found to have SA and exploited 4 girls between the ages of 12 and 16 in Calderdale. Since the first report in 2016, detectives in Calderdale have conducted multiple extremely complex and sensitive investigations into a number of separate allegations of SA of kids in Calderdale area between 2001 in 2010. Now, obviously, I am having to change some of the words on here because it will be flagged up. And as you can imagine, the video won't be shown because YouTube doesn't like certain words on here. But due to court restrictions being put in place at an early stage to safeguard legal proceedings, they were so far unable to share the outcomes of these investigations. But obviously now the restrictions have been lifted, allowing everyone to share details of 3 investigations where proceedings are no longer active. In 2016, an investigation was launched into the allegations, and trial 1 commenced in October 2021 at Bradford Crown Court. So Shahzad Nawaz, 45, was found guilty of aheri and making threats to kill, sentenced to a total of 11 years. Nadeem Nasir, 44, of Halifax, found guilty of aheri and making threats to kill, was sentenced to a total of 11 years. Sajid Adalat, 48, of Halifax, was found guilty of the same thing, and he was sentenced to a total of 7 years. So Sohal Zafar, 41, of Halifax, pled guilty to aheri and supply of Class Cs. He was sentenced to a total of 42 months. 42 months for that. How ridiculous. Shahzad Nazir, 49, of Halifax, found guilty of aheri, was sentenced to a total of 11 years. Trial 2 commenced in January 2022 at Bradford Crown Court. Nadeem Adalat, 39, of Halifax, found guilty of aheri, sentenced to 14 years. He appealed the sentence and it was increased to a total of 16 years. And this is what normally happens when these offenders feel like they've been hard done by. They'll put an appeal in against a sentence, even though if that appeal is unsuccessful, the victims can also appeal it and it will be increased like it has been done in that case. Asad Mahmood, 38, of Halifax, found guilty of aheri, sentenced to a total of 13 years. Mohammed Iqbal, 39, of Halifax, found guilty of aheri, sentenced to a total of 9 years. Vasim Adalat, 38, of Halifax, found guilty of aheri, sentenced to 12 years. Following an appeal, it was increased to a total of 14 years and 6 months. So in 2016, an investigation was launched following the reports. And this was another one where trial 1 commenced on August 2022 at Bradford Crown Court. Amir Shaban, 48, of Halifax, was found guilty of aheri and sentenced to 10 years. Trial 2 commenced October 2022 at Bradford Crown Court. And I'm not going to go through every single case, but I will just say what they were sentenced to. Yeah, because there is that many. Like I mentioned, there was 22 in total. So Shahzad, oh, sorry, that's the other one. So Malik Qadir, 67, of Halifax, found guilty, 5 counts of aheri, sentenced to 22 years in prison. Now that's more like it when it comes to this sentence in 22 years. That's exactly how long they should be getting, with a minimum, to be honest, because that's just going to be half of that sentence. Mohammed Zarib, 55, of Halifax, found guilty of aheri, sentenced to 10 years. Imran Yassin, 45, of Halifax, found guilty of the same, sentenced to 10 years. Kamran Amin, 48, sentenced to 10 years. Mohammed Akhtar, 54, sentenced to 11 years. Well, Mr. Akhtar died while serving his sentence. Saqab Hussain, 46, of Halifax, found guilty of the same and sentenced to 7 years and 6 months. Trial 3 commenced January 2024 at Bradford Crown Court. Haroon Sadiq, 40, of Halifax, found guilty of 2 counts of hairy, sentenced to 10 years. Shafiq Ali Rafiq, 44, sentenced to 12 years. Sofraz Rabnawaz, 39, of Bradford, found guilty, 2 counts of hairy, sentenced to 9 years. In 2018, an investigation was launched again into the same SA of a young girl in Calderdale between 2001 and 2002. Craig Mitchell, 55, of Halifax, found guilty of a hairy and sentenced to 12 years in prison. So that is what they got in total, 219 years. But that case, like I said, when I looked into it, I'll just get a little bit more info up on it because it was absolutely horrendous what those young girls, 4 young girls aged between 12 and 16, 22 men like that. Imagine what them poor lasses had to go through of a bunch of depraved, sick animals like that. The West Yorkshire Police said it announced the convictions on Wednesday. Actually, I'll just go a little bit further down. So as you can imagine, it was an intense investigation. And obviously, the whole lot of them got prosecuted. But just see if there's anything more on it there. But as you can imagine, like I've mentioned, all of them, I mean, I've got some pictures up on the screen, but I cannot really show it on your screen because I'm not quite up to date with how to share it on this screen. I don't want to press anything in case it goes off, but I will get better at doing these and I will be broadcasting more of these stories. But imagine what them young girls went through between the ages of 12-year-old girl. I mean, my daughter is 11-year-old now. And people say, would you go back to prison? Obviously, no one wants to go back to prison. But imagine someone like that got a hold of your daughter, 11-year-old. You wouldn't be responsible for your actions against those absolute monsters. But I'll just go back a second, actually, because I didn't speak about the two recent ones. These 2 recent ones, Zahir Iqbal, 45, was found guilty. He was sentenced to 10 years. I mentioned them 2, actually, they were in it, but they were the 2 that's just been found guilty and sentenced on that case. And like I've mentioned, I will be reporting on these beasties, bacon bashers, like I've mentioned before on the channel. Yeah, everyone's as bad as these are, these type of offenders. Everyone wants to hear about them, hear about the videos, because like I've mentioned, the mainstream media aren't putting these on the news channels. They're putting a lot of other things on to, what shall we say, to bend people's minds to their own agenda, but they're not sharing these type of stories. So I will be sharing loads of these stories. But like I've mentioned, when I done a story the other day, if you want to go back on my videos and have a look, and it is talking about jail slang for nonsense, which is a hairy ape, which rhymes with. Go and have a look at that video, and I do talk a little bit about it on there. And like I mentioned, these type of videos where I can do a live stream without having to go back, edit the video, then upload it. So I'll be able to do more of these videos, because once I'll end the live stream on this video now, it will automatically upload. And if you've missed it, and if you're just joining now, then the video will upload automatically. But now that I've finished doing the story, I will start interacting with the viewers now. Like I say, I'm on TikTok and YouTube here at the moment. So thanks everybody for watching the video. And for interacting. Hit the like button, people. Remember to subscribe. Get the algorithm going. So King Zuzu says, love the videos, Ricky. Top stuff, fella. Thank you very much. The Northern King, afternoon. How you doing? Sathanas, afternoon. Benjamin, how we doing? So Cass says, this has been happening for decades. Always said to them, it's sick. You should mess with young girls back in the 1990s that just laughed because they allowed it. Like I say, these type of things have been going on for years, but obviously this dated back nearly 20 years as well. And it's coming to light because obviously them young girls are now women and they know now what happened to them was wrong. And they're bringing it to light and they're talking up. And thankfully they've been convicted and sent to prison because that's exactly what these type of beasts need, these bacons. Now, they will be on the VP wings. A lot of them who have getting bigger sentences will be going to the high security estate and they will be on the VP wings. Sparky from Gateshead, how are you doing, pal? Hoffman Singh, afternoon, pal. Michael, absolute legend, this man here, England's Joe Rogan. Plenty more podcasts coming, and like I say, I will be uploading more. But let us move this TikTok one round because I can't see there we go. There's a lot of people on my TikTok who I haven't been mentioning when they've been shouting down there bits of comments. But I'm going to leave this one there for now. But I have got loads of more videos coming up. And like I say, I'll be uploading more of these ones, people. So keep an eye out. And I will be doing exactly what you want. And if there is any videos you want me to cover, drop it in the comment section. Because I do try my best to go through all the comments. And as usual, everyone's loving the bacon bashers. Hopefully these beasts get a good bashing inside because that's exactly what they deserve, a bit of prison justice. So I'm going to knock that one off, people. Thanks for watching again. But I'm going to be doing a video, an update on Tommy Robinson because I have heard from someone, his situation, what's happening with him inside of prison. So keep a watch out and I will be doing that one soon. Take care, everyone. Thanks for watching.